show you how to create an Apple Developer account and enroll in the Apple Developer Program. The Apple Developer Program is what gives you the ability to make your apps available in the App Store for iOS users. Before we begin, we should note that if you have multiple apps in the system, each app will need to be housed in its own developer account. Let's get started. Step 1. Go to Apple's developer website, developer.apple.com, and create an Apple ID if you don't already have one. Then, click Account at the top of the page. If you don't already have an Apple ID, you can create one by clicking on the Create Yours Now link next to Don't Have an Apple ID. Go ahead and take a moment to create your account. Once you've created your Apple ID, you will need to enable two-factor authentication, which is a requirement by Apple for all Apple IDs. You can set up two-factor authentication with an iPhone, iPad, or a computer. For the iPhone and iPad, start by clicking Settings, then your name at the top, then click Password and Security. Then simply tap Two-Factor Authentication. Be aware that they may ask you some security questions. If that's the case, just follow the instructions Apple gives you. If you're using an Apple computer, go to Apple Menu, then System Preferences, click iCloud, and then Account Details. Click Security, then click Two-Factor Authentication. If you don't have an Apple product to use, reach out to Apple's support team and they'll help you get that set up with a non-Apple product. Step 2. Start by logging in with your current or newly created Apple ID at developer.apple.com. This brings us to the Apple Developer Agreement page. Read through it if you'd like, but when you're done, check the box saying you've read it and click Submit. After this, you'll see a link titled Join the Apple Developer Program. Click it. This will take you to a page where Apple tells you all about the developer program. You can read through this if you want, but once you're ready, click on the Enroll button. This will take you to a page telling you what the two different account types are and what you need to do for each one. The first type of account is for the individual. An individual account only allows for a single primary login to be created to the iOS developer account. Also, the developer name will be made public on the App Store. Sign up for an individual account only if your app is branded to you as an individual. The second type is for companies and organizations. This type of account will allow for multiple user logins to be created and managed. This type of account is what we recommend. For this type of account, the developer name that's made public will be the company or organization's name. Enrolling in the correct account or entity type is vital to getting your app submitted and approved by Apple. It all boils down to what your app's content is for and what its branding is set to. For example, let's say your name is David and you built an app for yourself called David's App, and everything in that app is related to you as an individual person. At that point, you can enroll as an individual. But let's say you made an app for your company called David Enterprises, or a charitable organization that you founded. You'd need to enroll as a company organization for that app since it's created specifically for your company or organization. Doing this will require you to provide a Dun & Bradstreet number, which we'll cover in just a moment. Now, knowing this and going over the information, start by clicking Start Your Enrollment. Step 3. Confirm that your email address, name, and country location are correct. Then select the type of account that you're enrolling as. Now, onto a Dun & Bradstreet number. Remember that this is only for companies and organizations. If you don't have a Dun & Bradstreet number, you can get one for free here. This does take a few weeks to process, but once you have the DUNS number, you can provide it to Apple during the enrollment process. After you've selected the type of account you need, click Continue. Step 4. In this section, you'll be asked to fill out the contact information for your account. After, you'll be brought to a series of pages where you will be typing in your personal information. So this is as far as I can go. Okay, so now you're at the point where you need to pick your monthly plan based on which plan you want to go with. So
you can pick the $99 plan or the $129 plan. And this link is also included in the developer account email that was sent to you, where you can go to these plans and compare and contrast. The biggest things to point out here is the number of downloads that you get, the analytics that you receive, support, and geofencing your push notifications is the big difference. So once you select your plan, you want to go back over to your dashboard. You're going to go to settings, which hopefully you can see here on my screen, but you'll go to settings, and then we want to go to your publishing information. And this is where we need to enter in. So you see, once you click settings, you'll go to publishing information, and we need to complete your Apple Store data that you just pulled over with your account setup. So you'll answer all these questions. You're going to put in all of your information here all the way down to the very end. You're going to answer all of these questions here. One thing to note is just make sure that before you hit submit that you go back and just kind of double check. Everything here has an asterisk. And if you have any questions about what it's asking you, you can click the little blue icon here, and it's going to tell you, like for information under developer name, this is the name of the company or individual Apple developer account. So this is the Apple developer account name that you set up. Same thing here. In the copyright year, in the example field, you will insert the name of the person or entity that owns the exclusive rights to your app, preceded by the year the rights were obtained. Do not provide a URL. So again, just make sure that you complete each one of these fields. The ones with the asterisks are required, and then you want to hover over these blue icons to give you an explanation if you have any questions. Once you fill out all of the Apple information, you're going to do the same thing for your Google Play Store. So fill out all the questions here for your Google Play Store once you set up your developer account with them. And then once this is completed, before you hit save, you want to make sure you view the guidelines for each one of these and then check the terms. So make sure you read and view these guidelines, and then you will click yes, submit for publishing. And then you will schedule a publishing appointment with our department using that Calendly link that I sent to you in the developer account email. Select the time and date that works with you. Our publishing team will reach out. They will do the two-step authorization to make sure that your account is authentic with Apple and that we're all good to go, and they will call you. So make sure that it's a time that you're available, that you can hop on the phone. They do typically call from a blocked or unknown number. So just want to make sure that whatever time that you select, make sure you're available and that you answer your phone. A couple of pro tips here is that you can set up more than one app under your current developer account that you establish, as long as it is not the same type of app. So let's say, for example purposes, this app that you're creating your developer account is a fitness app for a local gym. And then let's say later on down the line, you launch a apparel company. You can set up a app under your same developer account that you started with for the fitness company under your developer account. It just can't be the exact same intent and purposes. So hopefully this was helpful for you. If you have any questions, definitely make sure you reach out to us via email, and you want to make sure you reference the email that I sent to you with your developer account set up, because that is going to have a link to the payment page, which is what you need to select. And it's also going to have a link that after you complete your publishing information, you schedule your call with our publishing department. Thanks so much.